town always whispered about Highway 19, not in daylight. Never with laughter, only in hushed voices after dark, when even the crickets had fallen silent. It wasn't just a road. That's what the locals said. It was a trap. Ask anyone in Ravenwood County and tell you the same. People vanished there. Cars were found burned, mangled, or worse, doors open, headlights dead. No trace of the driver. The sheriff never spoke about it, but his patrol car had been spotted once, parked crooked on the shoulder, driver's door wide open, badge lying in the dust like someone had walked away mid-breath. He never filed that report. That's the thing about Highway, and it doesn't just take you somewhere. It takes you. The hook wasn't a story. It wasn't a ghost. It was a warning. And still, every year someone ignored it. Maybe a traveler passing through. Maybe a couple chasing adventure. Maybe kids too young to believe in curses. At midnight, under a pale half-moon, the road waited. Asphalt cracked like broken teeth, lane markers fading into dust. A single sign stood at the entrance, tilted and rusted. Words carved into the metal not by paint, but by something sharper. Turn back. And beneath it, etched deeper, words no one admitted to carving. Too late. The wind carried no sound across that stretch. No crickets, no owls, not even the rustle of leaves. Just silence, thick, suffocating, unnatural. Step onto Highway 19 and the world itself seemed to hold its breath. People in town said the road was older than the town itself, older than the county. Some swore it was built over a graveyard. Others said it was never built at all, that it appeared one night after a storm, stretching across miles of forest where no forest had been cut. The stories clashed. But one thing never changed. No one who entered past midnight came back the same. If they came back at all, it was always the same. The first mile felt ordinary. Asphalt cracked, weeds pushing through, old billboards leaning into the wind, their paint stripped by rain. Drivers would joke at first. What curse? What shadows? Just a broken road. But then came the stillness. Radios cutting to static, GPS spinning in circles, insisting they were already off the map. Time didn't pass normally there. Midnight stretched on, minute after minute, hour after hour, and the sky never shifted. Those who made it back alive, few as they were, spoke of the same detail, their voices shaking like leaves. The silence eats you. It's too deep. It's wrong. One woman said she drove for what felt like hours and never saw another car. No headlights ahead, no taillights behind, just her own reflection in the rearview mirror, until she realized the reflection wasn't moving with her. Another man, a trucker, said he'd passed the same gas station 3 times, except it wasn't a gas station anymore. The second time, the sign had no letters. The third, the building had no doors. He never stopped. He never looked again. Children in town played dares. Ride your bike to the signpost. Touch the rusted metal. Come back before the fog reaches you. None of them dared to go further. They didn't need to. The weight of the stories pressed heavy enough. But someone always did, and Highway 19 always waited. The sheriff once tried to block it. Off, barriers, warnings, patrols. But the barriers never stayed. Drivers swore they'd taken another road, only to find themselves back at the rusted sign. Some swore the road found them, no matter the reason, no matter the route. Highway 19 had a way of pulling people in. At the heart of it was one final truth, spoken only in shadows. Highway 19 was not a road at all. It was a mouth, and every mile marker, every faded stripe, every crooked tree that lined its edge were teeth. The town didn't speak of it because what good were words against something that wanted you, something that could find you even when you swore you weren't looking for it. The road had patience. It never rushed. It waited, night after night, year after year, until the right driver, the right car, the right foolish decision crossed its path. And then, doors open, headlights cut, silence swallowing the last scream. It fed. That's why no one in Ravenwood County drove that way. Not anymore. But tonight, 4 college friends, laughing off the warnings, were about to take that turn. Their headlights would cut across the cracked asphalt. Their tires would roll past the rusted sign, and the road, hungry, endless, older than any map, would wake. Waiting, breathing, ready to feed again. The laughter echoed in the car long before the tires touched Highway 19. 4 voices, young, reckless, loud enough to push back the silence. Outside. Shortcut, dude. GPS says it'll save us 30 minutes, Jake said from behind the wheel, smirking as neon light from his dashboard painted his jaw. He was the kind who thrived on dares, the one who never backed down from a challenge. From the passenger seat, Casey rolled her eyes. Yeah, and the locals say it'll save us forever, as in you never come back. The back seat exploded with laughter. Emily nudged Mark, whispering, "Scared much?" Mark shook his head quickly. "No, come on, guys. The sign literally says turn back. That's not a joke." Jake pressed harder on the gas. The hum of the tires deepened. Signs don't scare me. Ghost stories don't scare me. Highways don't scare me. You know what does scare me? Midterms, that's it. Casey looked at him, eyebrows raised. You're insane. This road isn't on half the maps. People talk about it for a reason. Emily leaned forward from the back, her face caught in the glow of Jake's phone screen. The GPS arrow spun like it was drunk, pointing them in circles. We're already off the map. Maybe we missed the turn? Nope. Jake's grin widened. We're here. The car curved left. The headlights swept across it. The rusted sign, bent, waiting. The words carved deep. Turn back. The laughter died just for a moment. No one breathed. The road stretched beyond like a wound in the earth. Darker than the forest, silent as a coffin. Jake tapped the wheel. Well, too late now. And the car rolled forward. The first mile felt normal. Old asphalt, faded lines, trees closing in on both sides. Emily fiddled with the radio, trying station after station. All static. She frowned. Not even country music. That's impossible. This is America. There's always country. Mark leaned forward, watching the empty stretch ahead. Why does it feel weird? Casey glanced at him. Weird how? Like, he hesitated. Like we're underwater. Sounds wrong. Too heavy. They all listened. Jake laughed nervously. You guys are just freaked out. Chill. Look, it's just a road. But his knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. The second mile changed. A gas station appeared on the right, lights buzzing weakly. Old pumps. Dusty windows. The sign above the store flickered, half the letters missing. Jake slowed. See? Civilization. You happy now? Casey frowned. That's impossible. This station closed years ago. My uncle used to stop here. It burned down. They tore it down. Emily leaned forward. Then what's that? Inside, a figure moved. Past the dusty window. Slow. Wrong. Like frames missing from a film reel. Jake swore and hit the gas. The station slipped into the dark behind them. Mark twisted to look. His voice shook. It didn't have a door. Did you see that? No door. Shut up, Jake snapped. The road stretched on. No intersections, no exits. Just black trees pressing closer. Another mile. Another sign. Hand-painted. Letters crooked. Too late. Casey shivered. That wasn't here before. Emily whispered, Guys, how many miles have we driven? Jake glanced at the odometer. It was stuck. 3.7 miles, frozen. The silence pressed harder. Heavy. Crushing. Like the air itself. Wanted them still. Casey's phone buzzed. She looked down. No service, no bars, just one new notification. Welcome to Highway 19. Her hand trembled. Jake, stop the car. Jake forced a laugh. It's a prank. It has to be. You probably signed up for some dumb app. Casey held the phone up. I didn't, I swear. Look, no signal. No Wi-Fi. How could I get a message? The laughter from earlier was gone now. The car was a coffin on wheels, rolling deeper into something that felt alive. The trees blurred. The asphalt cracked wider, and in the headlights, shapes seemed to move just beyond the line of sight. Emily whispered, "I think we should turn around." Jake's jaw tightened. "We can't, not until the next turnoff." Mark's voice cracked. "What if there isn't a turnoff?" No one answered. The odometer clicked suddenly. Jumped from 3.7 to 6.6 miles, just like that, no in between. Casey's breath hitched. It's not measuring distance. It's measuring us. The headlights caught another figure in the road ahead, standing dead center. Facing them, Emily screamed. Jake slammed the brakes. Tires screeched. The car skidded. When the dust settled, the figure was gone. Just the road, empty, silent, waiting. Jake gripped the wheel, sweat dripping down his temple. For the first time, his voice cracked. Okay, maybe this was a bad idea. No one laughed this time. Highway 19 had them now, and it wasn't letting go. The car rolled forward, headlights trembling across the cracked road. None of them spoke for a long time. It wasn't silence, it was something heavier. Like the road itself was pressing down on them. Jake cleared his throat, forcing confidence back into his voice. All right, that was nothing. Just some hiker. People wander, right? End of story. People don't vanish into thin air, Casey shot back, her voice sharp. She clutched her phone tight. The screen was still glowing faintly. Welcome to Highway 19. Emily's eyes darted to the trees outside. They weren't trees anymore, at least not the way trees should look. Their trunks twisted like bones. Their branches bent toward the road as if listening. Mark leaned forward, his voice low. You hear that? They all froze. At first it sounded like static. Then whispers, faint, layered, dozens of voices under the hum of the tires. Jake shook his head. Nope, not listening. Not happening. He cranked the wheel harder, pushing the car faster. But the whispers rose, louder, clearer. Turn back. Too late. You're ours now. Casey slapped her hands over her ears. Stop it! Just stop it! Jake slammed his fist against the dash. Shut up, it's in your head. It's... Then the radio turned on, by itself. The static screamed through the speakers. And underneath a voice, slow and broken. 4 enter, none return. Emily's scream ripped through the car. The odometer jumped again, from 6.6 to 9.9. Jake's hands trembled on the wheel. He glanced at Casey. See? That's good. That means we're moving forward. We'll be out soon. But Casey pointed through the windshield. Look. On the right side of the road stood a mile marker. Fresh white paint. Numbers carved deep. 9.9. Emily's voice cracked. That's impossible. Mile markers don't match odometers. That's not how it works. Mark whispered. It's not distance. It's counting us down. Jake forced a laugh, though it died in his throat. Count down to what? The answer came too quickly. A figure darted across the road. Not walking, not running, glitching, like reality couldn't decide where to place it. The headlights caught its face for a fraction of a second. Hollow eyes, a mouth stitched shut with wire. Emily covered her face. Oh God, don't look at it. Jake swerved, tires screaming. The car nearly spun out, but he held it straight. His breath came fast. Okay, that wasn't real. That wasn't... A loud crack echoed through the car. The rearview mirror split clean in half. No one touched it. No one moved. Casey whispered, it doesn't want us watching behind us. The broken mirror swung on its last thread, reflecting only darkness. The road narrowed. Trees pressed closer. The headlights fought harder against the dark. Jake's jaw tightened. Next turnoff, we're gone. I don't care if it's dirt. I don't care if it's nothing. We're leaving. But Emily's voice was hollow. There is no turnoff. Don't you see? It's straight. Only straight. Forever. They drove on, minutes, hours, time lost shape. Then brakes screeched. Jake's whole body locked. The car skidded to a stop. In the middle of the road stood a sign. Fresh wood. Wet paint. Mile 13. Casey's hands shook. That's not right. We skipped from 9.9 to 13. How does that? Before anyone could answer, something rose behind the sign. Not a person, not an animal, a shape, blacker than the night. Limbs too long, bending the wrong way, head tilted as if bones snapped long ago. It leaned forward, slowly, listening. Mark whimpered. "Drive, Jake, drive now." Jake's foot hit the gas. The car roared. The shape didn't move. It didn't need to. As the headlights swallowed it, the air in the car froze. Breath turned to frost, and in every speaker, the same voice whispered again. 4 enter, none return. The car surged past, but the shape was already gone. Not left behind. Somehow, impossibly, ahead of them. The car ate up the road in silence. No one dared to speak. The only sound was the low growl of the engine and the hiss of tires over cracked asphalt. Jake's knuckles were white on the wheel. Sweat traced down his forehead. Mark leaned forward suddenly, pointing. "There, on the right, there's a road." "A turnoff!" Every head whipped forward. For the first time in miles, the endless stretch of Highway 19 broke. A dirt road curved sharply to the right, swallowed by tall grass and hanging branches. Casey gasped. "Oh my God, we're not stuck. We can leave." Jake pressed the brakes, slowing. His voice shook but carried relief. "Finally, we're out of this, told you. Told you it wouldn't last forever." But Emily didn't share their relief. Her face was pale, lips trembling. "No," she whispered. "It wasn't there before." Jake laughed nervously. "So? Roads don't just pop up, Em. We missed it. That's all." Emily shook her head violently. "I was watching. Every inch. There was no turn. It just appeared." The dirt road yawned open like a wound in the earth. Its darkness was thicker than the trees around it, swallowing the headlights whole. Mark pressed harder. "Jake, please. Anything's better than this highway. Just turn." Casey nodded. "Do it, please, just do it." Jake exhaled. His hand shook, but he twisted the wheel. The car turned right. Tires crunched against loose gravel. And just like that, Highway 19 disappeared in the rearview mirror. The dirt road stretched far longer than it should have. At first, it looked like freedom. Trees pulled back. The moonlight filtered in. The static in their ears dimmed. Jake even managed to laugh. "See? We're fine. All that crap back there? Just the highway messing with us. We beat it." Casey's shoulders relaxed. She even smiled. But Emily's hands gripped the seatbelt so tightly her knuckles blanched. Her eyes darted side to side. "Listen," she whispered. They did. Silence. No whispers, no static. Just nothing. Mark frowned. "That's better, right?" Emily shook her head. Her voice cracked. "No, it's worse. At least before we could hear it. Now it's watching." As if on cue, the headlights flickered. Once, twice, then steadied again. Jake cursed under his breath. "Great, battery's dying. Perfect timing." But the battery wasn't dying. The dashboard lights were bright. The engine hummed strong. Only the headlights trembled, as though something stood in front of them. Something invisible. The dirt road narrowed. The trees bent inward again, branches arching overhead until the sky was gone. Casey whimpered. "Jake, it looks the same, just like the highway. What if it's not?" Her voice cut off. Because ahead, rising from the dirt, a sign stood tall. Wooden, fresh paint. "Welcome to Highway 19. The car screeched to a stop. For a long time, no one moved. Jake's breath came in ragged gasps. He slammed his palm against the wheel. "No, no, no, no." We turned. Mark shook his head, eyes wide. "It doesn't matter. The road isn't real. It's just part of it. Another trap." Emily's voice was low, steady now, almost calm. "It's not a road. It's a circle. No matter where we go, it leads back." Casey's chest rose and fell too fast. She clawed at the seatbelt. I can't stay here, I can't." Her scream tore through the car. because outside the window figures now lined the road. Dozens of them, men, women, children, all standing shoulder to shoulder in the trees, their faces pale, eyes hollow, mouths stitched shut with rusted wire. They didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't blink. Jake slammed the gas. The car roared forward, figures blurred by on both sides, unmoving, watching. Emily's whisper was drowned under the engines. Scream, they were here before us. They never left. The dirt road widened suddenly, and with a violent lurch they burst out onto black asphalt again. Highway 19. The same cracked yellow lines, the same suffocating dark. Only one thing was different. The mile marker ahead no longer showed numbers. It showed words, turn again. The car crawled forward, headlights trembling against the dark. No one spoke. They didn't dare. Casey's sobs filled the silence, broken, shallow breaths. Mark tried to comfort her, but his own hands shook. Jake stared at the endless road. His voice cracked. We can't escape. We never could. Emily turned slowly, her face drained of all color. It doesn't want us to escape. It wants us to pay. Jake snapped. Pay? With what? Emily's eyes glistened. She didn't answer, but the road did. The static hiss returned, faint at first, then rising. It crawled into their ears, under their skin, but this time it carried words, distorted, broken. One must stay. One must feed. Casey screamed, clutching her ears. Stop it! Make it stop! Mark froze. Did you hear that? Did you? The radio snapped on by itself. Through the dead static, a voice whispered. Their voice. Jake's voice. One must stay. Casey's voice followed, broken and crying. One must feed. Every single one of them, their voices repeating, over and over. Jake slammed his fist into the radio, shattering the panel. Sparks flew. The voices didn't stop. They only grew louder. The road shifted. 1 second, it was empty. The next, something stood in the middle. A body. Bloated, pale, its chest torn open, ribs shattered wide. The face unrecognizable, skin peeled back as if gnawed. Jake swerved violently. Tires screamed. The car spun, barely missing it. Casey shrieked, burying her face into her hands. Oh God, oh God, oh God! Emily's voice was calm. Too calm. It's showing us what it wants. The car settled back on the road, but the body wasn't behind them. It was in front of them again. Jake slammed the brakes. The car screeched to a stop inches away. This time, the body's eyes opened. Milky white, glowing faintly, and its mouth moved. Hungry! Casey gagged. Mark pulled her close, holding her. Emily stared, unblinking. It won't stop. Not until it gets one of us. The body twitched. Bones cracked. It dragged itself closer, scraping along the asphalt. Jake floored the gas. The car roared through. The body burst into a cloud of black ash, then reformed ahead again. Everywhere they turned, it waited. Hours bled into each other. Time twisted. Hunger gnawed at them, not their hunger. The roads. Mark finally broke. It's going to kill us all. Unless, his throat caught, unless we give it what it wants. Casey sobbed harder. You're not saying what I think. Mark's jaw clenched. One of us. That's what it means. Jake exploded. Hell no. I'm not sacrificing anyone. Emily's whisper cut through the chaos. Then it'll choose for us. As if on cue, the mile marker ahead glowed. Instead of numbers, red letters burned across the metal. Choose or starve together. The car shook violently. The air turned heavy. Shapes moved in the dark. Those same stitched-mouth figures pressing closer to the road. Their hollow eyes locked on the car. Jake gripped the wheel, whispering to himself. Not me, not me. Not me. Casey clawed at her seatbelt, desperate. Please, I don't want to die. The figures stepped closer. Hands pressed against the glass, cold, pale, hungry. The whispers rose again. One must stay. One must feed. The car rattled, shuddering with every mile. Casey clutched Mark's arm, whispering prayers that dissolved into broken sobs. Jake's knuckles were white on the wheel. Emily sat in silence, her eyes glassy, almost resigned. The whispers filled the car again. One must stay. One must feed. The voice no longer came from the radio. It came from inside their heads. Mark snapped. "We can't keep driving? It won't let us go. We have to choose." Jake slammed the brakes. The car screeched, skidding sideways, headlights slicing across the empty road. He turned on them wild-eyed. "You think I'm just gonna hand one of us over? Screw that. We're sticking together." Emily's voice cut through the chaos, calm but sharp. "Together? You still don't get it. This road doesn't care about us. It only cares about hunger." The air grew heavy. A figure appeared in the headlights again. Not a stranger this time. It was themselves. 4 shadows. Jake, Casey, Mark, Emily, standing in the middle of the road. Hollow-eyed, stitched mouths grinning wide. The real Casey screamed, "Oh my God!" Their doubles stepped closer. The whispers merged into one booming voice. "One must stay, or all will feed." The car doors locked by themselves. Windows fogged instantly, breathless heat filling the cabin. Casey clawed at the glass. "Let us out! Please, God, let us out!" Mark shoved at the handle. Nothing. Jake pounded the dashboard. "I'm not giving in. You hear me?" "I'm not." But the road had already made its move. The shadows pressed against the car. Fingers slipped through the glass as if it was water. Cold, sharp, digging into skin. Casey shrieked as a hand wrapped around her wrist. Mark fought it off, pulling her back, teeth clenched in panic. Jake floored the gas. The car jolted forward, straight through the shadows. But the figures didn't vanish this time. They reappeared inside. Casey screamed as her stitched mouth double sat beside her, empty eyes boring into hers. Mark froze, staring at his own copy, grinning from the back seat. Emily didn't move. She just stared at her shadow self, then whispered, "It wants me." Everyone turned to her. Jake shook his head violently. No way. Don't you dare." Emily smiled faintly. For the first time, she looked at peace. "You don't understand. It's always been me. From the gas station, from the voices. It wanted me all along." Her shadow leaned closer, grinning wider, its mouth splitting unnaturally. Emily whispered, "If I stay, maybe you can go." Jake grabbed her arm. "No, you're not doing this." Emily looked at him, her voice soft but sharp. "If we don't give it something, it'll take us all." "You know that," Mark shouted. "We'll find another way." But the road answered for them. The headlights flickered. The car stalled. The air went black, pressing down like a coffin lid. And then the voice thundered again. "One must stay, or all will feed." The shadows lunged. Casey shrieked as her double clawed at her throat. Mark wrestled with his copy, fists swinging, but the thing didn't bleed, didn't break. Jake fought his double behind the wheel, both locked in a death grip. And Emily? She didn't fight at all. She opened the door. Cold wind roared in, filled with whispers, screams, hunger. Her shadow wrapped its arms around her, and she let it. The last thing they heard was her voice, calm, steady, almost relieved. "Drive." The door slammed shut. The shadows vanished. The car roared back to life. Jake slammed the gas. The road opened ahead, empty, endless. And for the first time, it looked like escape. The ending twist. Dawn broke. Casey sobbed with relief, pointing. "There! Exit! We're out!" The sign glowed golden in the sunlight. "Welcome to Ashford. Population 3,214. Jake laughed, hysterical. "We made it. He froze. Casey frowned. "What's wrong?" Mark turned pale, eyes wide. The sign shimmered. Letters twisting. "Welcome to Highway 19. Population growing." Behind them, the back seat creaked. A voice whispered. Emily's voice. One must stay. One must feed. The camera cuts to black. Watch till the end if you dare. New horror stories uploaded daily. Subscribe for more.